Mark Schlereth back with us. We're going viral. You might have seen this video of an Eagles fan chasing down a train. Oh, they get him excited in Philly. We didn't show you yesterday. We didn't know how it turned out, but now that we know he's good and okay.
This big dummy.
Check this out.
This big.
Ready? He's excited. Let's watch it one more time. Here we go.
Just watch through the window.
Here we go. Ready? Our life is good. Oh!
That's good. It's good news they greased all those bulls.
Stink, we got another angle to show you. The fan is taking it all outside. Look at this. He said, quote, Oh! He said, yeah, I hit the pole, but the passion is there. It reflects the passion of the entire city.
Man, that almost ended with a decapitation.
We almost weren't showing you this story.
Yeah.
I brought this video to our main producer, Keta, yesterday, and he foolishly said, he's like, we can't show it on TV till we find out if the guy's okay. So we had to wait a day. We got the quotes from the newspaper, find out he's okay. And then we see that he also hit his head into the moving train. That ain't great.
Moving train, which was right after the steel pole.
Stink, you played in Washington, so this won't surprise you. Nick and I went to the game.
Oh, my God.
That was probably the best behavior that I saw out of Eagles fans. That's the best that I experienced. Hey, real talk. Man. I don't know if the Minneapolis nice, the people there are ready for Philadelphia fans. I just don't know if they're ready.
I went to a Phillies game when my son was pitching for the Arizona, for the Diamondbacks. And, you know, they switched the bullpens. They have an upper deck and a lower deck, because the fans were so hard on the bullpen. Like the guys from the Phillies go, can you put us on the lower one?
Right.
Because our own fans are so bad on us.
Oh, yeah. I got cursed out a few times as a wide receiver. I'm like, I thought you were cheering for me.
I'm on your team.
Yes.
All right, let's get back to the Eagles. Speaking of which, their next opponents, no Gronk, no Edelman, no manicure this week because of that stitched thumb. No problem for Tom Brady and the Pats. Danny Amendola had the game of his life Sunday, catching 7 passes, including 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The win is sending the Pats to their 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years. Danny Amendola spoke about his quarterback after the game.
Tommy's the best, man. He's the toughest guy I've ever met, physically, mentally. And if there's anything that happens to Tom, I know he can handle it. Everybody knows how tough he is. Everybody knows that he's our leader, and it's a testament to his career, his personality, the man he is, and you know, not only is he the best player in our locker room, but he gets everybody else to play well and step their game up, and that's why he's the best.
Translate for Danny. He's a god, is what he was basically trying to. How remarkable is Tom Brady's run? Oh,
it's incredible. And, you know, here's the thing, to not be sated by success,
yes,
I think that's the most impressive thing to me, to continue to play with that chip on your shoulder, to continue to prepare, to continue to grind. What's his quote is, if you want to beat me, you better be willing to lose your life, because I already given up mine.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting talking to Jimmy Garoppolo, the former backup, now the starter for San Francisco. He said, listen, the thing I learned most from Tom Brady is playing quarterback is not a job, it's a lifestyle. And you got to be willing to commit your life to it. And to be able to commit your life to playing the game the way he has played it, and to have that much, like I said, to have that much passion for it without ever being sated by it.
Wait, Steve, what does that mean? What does that mean, to commit your life to it, that it's not a job? Like, what are the things that Tom Brady does that other quarterbacks in the league aren't doing?
He wakes up, and it's all about, what am I going to do today to be the best quarterback that I can be for this organization? And that means diet. That means exercise. That means, you know, hydration. That means, you know,
oxygen tanks.
Right. I mean, it's everything. It is everything that he does in his life points to, how am I going to have success on Sundays? And I've always said, Sundays aren't the problem. Like, I'll line up right now on a Sunday.
I could play Sunday.
Right.
He wanted to play Sunday.
Right. It's Monday through Saturday that's the problem. Like, you get to a point somewhere in your career, you're like, man, I don't want to prepare anymore. No. If I could just show up on Sundays, that'd be great. But I don't want to go through the grind, the grind of preparing to get to Sunday. And he still eats that grind for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, we played 98 years in the National Football League. And in every decade, there have been quarterbacks or a quarterback that if they were writing a book from the beginning, you know, Sammy Ball and some of these other great quarterbacks that we might have read about, some of our audience might not know about, but there were quarterbacks before Tom Brady. There were great quarterbacks before Tom Brady. And then even after Sammy Ball, and then we got into Bart Starr, Johnny Unitas, and then we got into the era, the modern era, where guys are throwing the ball, the Marinos, the Elways, all these guys. Tom Brady took the book on quarterback, and what he's done is he's added a few more chapters. Now, we have to be careful when we talk about Tom, because there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that this is their life. Drew Brees, Matty Ice, Peyton Manning, like all these quarterbacks had an unbelievable regimen. But the book, as far as a quarterback, the one that Sammy Ball and all these others started, Tom Brady has added volumes to it like no other quarterback. Y'all can have the conversation, who's the greatest. But I'm just telling you, when you look at the book and you read it on quarterbacks, Tom Brady has added all these chapters to the end that if you want to know about quarterbacks, you need to know about Tom Brady and what he's done. Peyton Manning, the no huddle. He added to the quarterback position in the book of quarterback. But what Tom Brady has done as far as postseason play, under pressure, a training regimen. I want to play until I'm 45. Those are all new chapters that he's added to an unbelievable book that we have called NFL History of the Quarterback.
And CeCe, you mentioned the decade-by-decade quarterbacks, starting with Sammy Ball, Johnny Unitas, Bart Starr. Like in the 70s, it probably would have been Bradshaw. We could argue about it. In the 80s, it's probably Montana. Some would argue Marino, but because the rings probably goes to Montana. In the 90s, I would say Troy Aikman. Some people might say Steve Young. We could argue about it. You know who it is in the 2000s? From 2001 to 2010? It's Tom Brady. And you know what it is for 2011 to 2020? It's Tom Brady again. Since Tom Brady came into the league, I would say the four best throwers of the football that he has been in the league at the same time as, in no order, are Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning. Those are the four best other quarterbacks who have played in the same era as Brady, right? Had some overlap with Favre. Those four guys made a combined 8 Super Bowls. Peyton, Brees, Rodgers, and Favre. A combined 8 Super Bowls. And those are first ballot, no doubt guys. He's about to play in his 8th. I don't think you can be hyperbolic with this guy. And I don't think you can overstate how impressive it is, the reinvention he's gone through from the early stage to what he was in the late 20 aughts, like the 07 to 11 phase, and then the reinvention the last 4 years, which is this amazing, like, clutch maven that we had never seen before.
And we've seen a marriage. We saw Chuck Knowles. We saw him with Terry Bradshaw. We saw even the great Tom Landry. We saw him with Roger Staubach. You know, Johnny Unitas. We could talk about them, but we never saw a marriage with the depth and the length of Tom Brady and Belichick. And to me, with Tom Brady, he surrendered because his boss is the driving force to push him. Every day Tom Brady shows up, he realizes, man, that guy can get rid of me. Right. That guy will cut my career short. And realizing the difference, most of these quarterbacks, they are the franchise at some point. At Tom Brady, he will never be the franchise. And I believe that has motivated him and will continue to drive him to greater success. I believe Tom Brady will win 7 Super Bowls before he retires. I believe it's that easy. Look at who he got. He beat Marcus Mariota, and he beat Blake Bortles to get to the Super Bowl.
To get to Nick Foles.
I don't see a whole bunch of quarterbacks and everything over the next 3 years that's going to be able to stop him from going to a couple more Super Bowls.
I think one thing, really quick. You have to be great for an extended period of time, you have to have somebody who believes in you and shows you confidence. I'll go back to the very first Super Bowl. We started this whole conversation this morning talking about Jacksonville and talking about Blake Bortles and how they finished that game and how they took the ball out of his hands and handed it off 4 times in a row. What happened the first Super Bowl Brady ever played in? If you remember it, John Madden was like, hey, well, let's play for a tie. You know, let's play for a tie, getting overtime.
Even Charlie Weis told him that.
Right.
Drew Bledsoe.
Right. And what happened? They said, no, you know what? We're going to go out here and let this kid throw it around. He drove them down there. They kicked a field goal to win that Super Bowl against the Rams. They entrusted him in a critical moment and said, we know you're young, but here you go.
Before he
Go
was
win this
Tom
for us."
Brady, they
Before he was
trusted
Tom Brady.
Yep.
And when you have that kind of confidence in the people, when you put confidence into people like that, you know what? It's amazing what can happen to that guy and what can happen to his career.
And I heard he loves spin class 3 days a week. Mark, thank you so much. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Thanks for joining us. Coming up, you're not going to believe what Kevin Durant.
This guy.
Wait till you see what Nick Wright seems like fired up next on
Appreciate you,
First
bro.
Take.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Got it. You got to stop talking, KD.
God bless.
The FA Cup 4th round on FS1. Friday, Yeovil Town.